Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Anil Joshi. Welcomes you to my series Iconology and Temple Architecture Perspectives. Today we are going to go to Ajanta Caves. This is an extensive topic. So we have covered it into three portions. In first portion we are going to see Ajanta Caves overview. In that we have covered it overall from historical point of view and from the architectural point of view. But as far as details are concerned, we got additional two videos in which we are given more details, all these things. So you will find a link at the end of this lecture. Do visit our other lectures also. They are very informative and they are very interesting. For this project, I have gone personally to all the sites. I have taken my own photographs and videographs. I have gathered information from the local guides, from the local boards which are kept outside, so also from the UNESCO or from the ASI or from the government sites. Whatever information was available, I have gathered them. Whatever is given in this video is whatever I have gathered from all these sources. So that is the only thing I am going to give in this lecture. There is no anything of my personal in it. The style of Ajanta has extended a considerable influence of the Indian and elsewhere, extending in the particular to Java. So this was a period when the technologies, then the art, the designing were crossing, and many of the outside designing Indo-Persian has come into the India, as well as that from the other sources also, Indo-Islamic, Indo-Persian have also come into the India, and the constructions were made according to that. So many monuments reflects combination of all this culture with its two group of monuments corresponding to two important monuments of the Indian history. So if you consider those monuments in Java, you will find that there are two Indian monuments which are corresponding with it, and they are also corresponding to the historical aspects. The Ajanta cave resembles bears exceptional testimonial to the evolution of Indian art as well as to the determining role of Buddhist community, intellectual and religious fires, schools and reception centers in India of the Gupta and immediate successor of that period. The caves are situated 100 km from northeast of Ellora, 104 km from Aurangabad and 52 km from Jalgaon railway station. But nowadays, in the era of internet and Google Map, location maps, there is no difficulty in finding it, no difficulty in finding conveyance. So it is very easy, but we are just to give an idea of location, we are given all these things. These are cut into the volcanic lava. So Sahyadri is a mountain, in that it is created by a lava and the caves are cut into it. Now, therefore, they are called as, they are cut into volcanic lava of Deccan in the forest ravines of the Sahyadri hill. It was densely forested. There were hardly any human traffic in this area, except few traders which were traveling by the way. But as far as residence is concerned, this area, particularly of the Ajanta and Ellora cave area, was not known for its routine residence or civilian residence. It was in a forest at that time. These magnificent caves containing carvings that depict the life of Buddha, and their carvings and sculpture are considered to be the beginning of the classical Indian art. So this is the beginning, and in that they are based on a life of a Buddha. The 29 caves are excavated at the beginning of 200 BC, but they are abandoned in 650. So they were carved and they were practically unused for more than 450 years. And then again it started getting into the use. The 5 of the caves are temples and 24 are monasteries thought to have been occupied some 200 monks and artisans. So almost all of them belonging to the Buddha era and was occupied by the monks and the artists. The Ajanta cave were gradually forgotten until the rediscovery by British tiger hunting in 1819. Actually, he was going there for hunting a tiger, and from a distant hill, I am going to show you in my picture, he saw these caves, and then with the help of local people, he went in the details of it. His name is again carved in one of the paintings. You have to see it with difficulty, but it will be seen. Now this is a dynasty of Vakatakas during which these caves were cut. This is the place from where you start your journey. This is the bottom of the hill from where you have to get the bus. There are bus services available from here. Now this is the route by which you go up around 3 to 4 kilometers, which take 15 to 20 minutes by the bus. And here you come to a valley. In the valley there is a river, and along the valley it is U-shaped, and in that there are caves. Now you can see it over here. Below there is a bridge over the river. I am thankful for this picture. It is downloaded from net, which is a public domain and royalty free. You will have to move toward this. Once you come upstairs, as I told you, they are along the U-shaped mountain. So from here you start and you start going towards other end. In between you will have to get down some step, you will have to climb certain steps, then you will have to walk again. The caves are numbered according to how you are seeing them. In between there are doors meant for the security purposes. Though we are seeing all along one after another, earlier when they were cut, all of them had steps down to the river. When we went there was no water in the river. It was dry. But when you go to the rainy season, you can enjoy. There will be water in the river, then cascades will be running from all the mountains, and there will be good greenery. So best season is, though it is considered as a rainy season, but it is fairly slippery. So best is to go around August, September. Now have a look at him. We are going to come to it in detail what these are. There is good arrangement of light made by the government. You will find lot of reservoir for water harvesting. Beautiful paintings. decorated pillars. The Ajanta caves are 30 rock-cut Buddhist cave monuments dating from the 2nd century BCE to about 480 CE. So over the period of almost, you can see they are from 2nd century BCE, before Common Era, to about 480 Common Era. So a huge span is there in which they were rock cut. They are near Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar district of Maharashtra. Ajanta caves, they are UNESCO World Heritage Site. So they are not only important for us, but they are important for the world. Universally regarded as the masterpiece of Buddhist religion art. The caves include paintings and rock-cut sculpture describing as among the finest surviving examples of the ancient Indian art, particularly exceptional paintings that present emotional thoughts, gesture, poses and form. The caves were built in 2 phases. The first starting around the 2nd century BCE and the second occupying 400 to 650 CE. See, initially is the BCE and next is the CE, before Common Era and Common Era. According to older accounts or a belief, a period of 460 to 480 CE according to the latter scholars. Now, according to carbon dating and according to scholars, inscriptions, they are coming with different dates. But overall it is agreed, whatever we have given is overall what has been agreed. The Ajanta caves constitute ancient monasteries, that is viharas. They were worship halls and chaityas, that is of the different Buddhist traditions, carved into the 75 meter, that is 246 feet wall of the rock. The caves also present paintings depicting the past lives and rebirths of the Buddha. The pictorial tales from Aryasuras, then Jatakas and rock-cut sculptures of the Buddhist deities. The textual records suggest that these caves served as the monsoon retreat for the monks as well as a resting site for merchants and pilgrims of the ancient India. While vivid colors and mural wall paintings were abundant in Indian history as evidented, the historical record of cave 1, 2, 16 and 17 of the Ajanta form the largest corpus of surviving ancient Indian wall painting art. Therefore, they are given UNESCO World Heritage title. They are important for the world because it is one of the rarest, finest art originating from India and seen today. The Ajanta caves are mentioned in the memoirs of several medieval era Chinese Buddhists. They were travelers. They were traveling from India and going back to China, but they have mentioned about it. They were travelers or visitors, you can call. They were it was covered by jungle or forest until incidentally it was discovered and brought to the Western attention in 1819 by a colonial British officer, Captain John Smith, on a tiger hunting party. So he was on the mountain which is opposite of it. From there he saw these caves. Actually he has come for tiger hunting, but when he saw, he took the help of the people, and the caves were in the rocky northern walls of the U-shaped gorge of the river Vagor in the Deccan Plateau. There are number of waterfalls. You will see them in the rainy season. Lot of waterfall. They are audible from the caves. So in rainy season, lot of waterfalls will be there. This waterfall will be audible from the caves, even though they are from a distance, and the flow of the river can also be appreciated from the caves, and it adds into the beauty of the caves. So it is good to visit in the rainy season, provided you can take care on the slippery surfaces. The Ajanta caves are generally agreed to have been made in two distinct phases. The first during second latter centuries. The cave consists of 36 identifiable foundations, some of them discovered after the original numbering of the caves from 1 to 29. The latter identification caves has been suffixed with a letter of alphabet such as 5A identified between the original number 5, 15 and 16, because they cannot be changed. So you put this in 15A. The cave number of A conventional of convinced and does not reflect the chronological order, because as I told you, 15 was discovered, then 16 was discovered. Afterward, when they discovered a cave between 15 and 16, that was named as 15A. So these do not reflect a chronological order. The earliest group consists of 9, 10, 12, 13 and 15A. The murals in these caves depict the stories from the Jatakas. The latter cave reflects the artistic influence of the Gupta period, but there are differing opinions on which century the early caves were built. According to the water spring, they were made during the period of 100 BCE to 100 CE, that is 200 year. 100 year before, 100 year after the zero, which makes them 200 year. Under the patronage of Satvahana dynasty, when the Satvahana dynasty was in between 230 BCE to 220 CE. It was there for more than 400 years. And they ruled this region. So it was supposed to be originated in their period. The other dating prefers the period of the Mayura Empire, that is 300 BCE to 100 BCE. Of these, caves 9 and 10 are stupas containing worship halls of the Chaitagrahas. From 12, 13, 15A are viharas. So they are divided into the Chaityagrahas and viharas as the number denotes here. The first Satvahana period caves locked figure sculpture, emphasizing the stupa instead. Since the Satvahana period caves were made, the site was not further developed for a considerable period until the mid-5th century. However, the early caves were in the use during the dormant period, but the Buddhist pilgrimage visited the site. Particularly the Chinese one has made a mention of it in their during their descriptions of the voyage which they had in India. The second phase of construction at the Ajanta caves began in the 5th century. For a long time it was thought that the latter caves were made. Over an extensive period from 4th to 7th century CE, but in recent decades, a series of stupis by the leading experts on the caves. Walter M. Spink have argued that most of the work took place over a very brief period from 460 to 480 CE, that is Common Era, during the reign of the Hindu Emperor Harishana of the Vakantaka dynasty. The view has been criticized by some scholars, but it is now broadly accepted by most of the authors of the General Book of the Indian Art. And what we are following are either whatever has been given in these books, whatever is given on the websites of the ASI, or whatever has been written in front of the temples. On 28th April 1819, a British officer named George Smith, on his 28th cavalry, while hunting a tiger, was shown the entrance of the cave number 10 from the opposite hill. A local shepherd boy guided him to the location and the doors of the caves. The caves were well known by the local already. So shepherds were going, cattle were going, people were knowing about it. Only thing, it was not to the knowledge of public, which was brought by a British officer, John Smith, who accidentally discovered them. Now Captain Smith went to a nearby village and asked the villagers to come to the site, and with axes, spears, torches and drums to cut the tangled jungle growth and made the entrance of the cave bit easy to have a look inside, to clean it, to clear the dust. And then he made this wonder visible to the world. He first saw ceilings with a beautiful and artistically drawn faces on them. Then he noticed monastic halls, which helped him to identify these as the Buddhist origin. He then deliberately damaged an image on the wall by scratching his name and a date over the painting of a Buddhist. Now the painting, though was of the Buddha Sattva, he should not have damaged it by writing his name, but whatever has been done is done. So on the painting of Buddha Sattva, his name is still there. You have to see it carefully, but it will be seen, because he himself was an artist. So he has written it, but it takes a little time to find it out. Since he stood on the 5 feet high pill of the ruble collected over the years, the inscription is well above the eye level glaze of the adults today. So you will have to find out. It's slightly higher what he says, but still you can find it out, and it will be visible. The paper on the caves by William Erskine was then read in Bombay society. So it came into existence. It came to the knowledge of the people, knowledge of the scholars after 1912, when it was published. The cave 10 in 1819. Within a few decades, the cave became famous for their exotic settings, impressive architecture, and above all, their exceptional and unique paintings. A number of large projects to copy the paintings were made in the century after the discovery. In 1948, the Royal Asiatic Society established the Bombay Cave Temple Commission to clear the tidy and record most important rock cut sites in the Bombay Presidency, with John Wilson as the president. So we acknowledge with thanks for making the site popular so that people can come here, they can visit. And 1961, this became the nucleus of the new archaeological survey of the India. So ASI was formed much before Britishers left. During the colonial era, the Ajanta site was in the territory of the primary state of the Hyderabad and not the British. So Hyderabad was ruling it. It was not under the Britishers. But in spite of that, Britisher could do good to that. And most important thing, they were not damaged. So we can see them intact as on today. In the early 1920s, Mr. Usman Ali Khan, the last Nizam of the Hyderabad, appointed a people to restore the work. So he was a person who had taken keen interest. The restoration work was taken. That was in the 1920. Then covered the site into a museum and built a road to bring the tourist. These efforts resulted in the early mismanagement. states Richard Cohen, and what they thought was the slight deterioration was there because of all these things, because of mismanagement. Otherwise, it would have been in much better shape than what it is today. Post independence, the state government of Maharashtra built arrival, transport facilities and better site management, which we are seeing today. I have shown you there are buses, there are good roads and good transportation up to the caves. The modern visitor center has good parking. I have shown you good public conveyance. You cannot take your own vehicle. There are buses, but they are very good and with very good frequency. They are operated very regularly. There are AC as well as non-AC buses available. So you can visit the site. Despite this effort, the latter neglected led to a painting degradation in the quality once again. Since 1983, Ajanta Caves has been listed among as a UNESCO World Heritage Site of the India. The Ajanta Caves, along with Ellora Caves, have become the most popular tourist destination in Maharashtra and are often crowded at the holiday times, increasing the threat to the caves, especially the paintings. But they are taking good care nowadays of all these things. There is routine maintenance of the caves going on. When I went there, they had recently fumigated them. So the paintings, they are trying to restore them. Then there are also protections from the wild animal, birds, bats, etc. They are taking good care to preserve them, but sometimes they would have done it earlier. In 2012, the Maharashtra Tourism Development Corporation announced plans to add to the ASI visitor center at the entrance completely replicas of cave 1 to 16 and 17 to reduce crowding in the origin and enable the visitor to receive a better visual idea of the paintings, which are dimly lit and hard to read in the caves. But as on today, when I went in the year May 24, there were good lights, not much crowded, enough time for me to make observations of all, and excellently maintained. You can see them in my photographs that they were very well maintained. So with that, we are coming to end of overview of the Ajanta caves. In different videos, we will be going into the more detail of the caves, but do watch them. The link is given. I thank you for giving me your valuable time. Goodbye, good luck and take care. See you in next video very shortly. If you are like the video, give us a like, and if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to our channel.